As soon as you hit that point at elevation, I feel like the whole stress of being over the hill fade away. You feel like you're entering a different world, like it's kind of away from everything. You're not part of Auckland, you're not part of New Zealand, you're just going home to your own space and time.
When you first come around the corner, it's like a sense of relief almost, you know. You've got the city behind you and you've got home in front. You're almost there.
No, just the expanse of it actually, the opening out into it, it's the entranceway. Yeah, that's the entrance to home. The rest is like access, it's a driveway. Yeah.
Oh, just yes, this is wonderful. When you first get onto the Piha Rd, when you get up to Anawhara, yeah, it's wonderful. You're just in a different zone altogether. The green belt, yes. The swath of trees that separates us from Auckland, it makes us what we are.
I think when I pull onto the Piha Rd, there's it depends. Sometimes it's a case of, oh, thank God I'm almost home. Today has been shite. And other times it's, oh, we've got all of this to go until we get home. Why don't I live closer to Pizza Hut? I am so hungry. Feed me now.
Oh, I love it. I love it all. It's just like, it's life, it's nature. It sort of reminds us how small and insignificant we are.
Sometimes it's like the paintbrush has just been swished across and the clouds are little smears of grey.
Trees either side, and they're getting bigger by the year. And the gaps in between, always the gaps in between the trees, you know, not just the trees, but the spaces in between, yeah.
Just beautiful, green, lush life from some angles as far as the eye can see.
If you're in the ranges, sometimes it's a lot more brown than it is green. There's a lot more trunk and a lot more dirt and kind of mud and rock.
The remains of ancient volcanoes there, like the igneous past is still there. Rock forms and landforms, you know, this always referring to their where they came from originally, because all it is just the side of what was once a monstrous volcano. You know, just the Waitakeres are just made up of rock falls and ash.
I don't enjoy stopping a car on Piha Rd and getting out. I ride it on the horse, but walking the road, it doesn't feel like the road is made for people without transport.
There are places on Piha Rd that have a funny vibe to it. You know, you go to a place and you get like, ooh, this is a bit creepy.
It's an undescribable sense. It's not something that can be defined by words.
This history of the ranges, that it inhabits spirits and the souls of the dead and gods, and there were goblins called the Nanakia, and they were creepy giants with long curled fingernails that lived in the tops of trees and ate raw meat. You wouldn't want to encounter one of those in the night.
Yeah, ask the birds, they're the ones that know about that. Rocks and holes and tanifas, mischief, rocks that won't behave themselves, and volcanoes that travel, and people that can sort of construct a whole mountain range just with a flick of the wrist. And tanifas, yeah, like all those volcanological phenomena, instead of being something geological, are the work of a living entity. I mean, if a taniwha ever turned up, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. I've never seen one, but if one ever showed up, I'd give it my full attention.
there actually were measurements somewhere on Lion Rock, measuring how tall these fair people were. They were the fair folk. There were femur bones that were found. The measurement of the femur bone, they're putting these people to at least 7 foot.
I have done a couple of maybe 180s, 360s myself on the road. It's kind of that flip side. It's so beautiful yet so dangerous.
Just don't lose your attention just because you think, "Wada!" when you come down that corner, I'm home. You're not home, not quite. Don't goof off.
Interestingly, I've never seen someone crash. You see burnt out cars and you see cars in trees, literally in the canopy. And then sometimes you just like spot the crash because you might just see a hole in the trees and you're thinking, oh, someone must have gone off, and then you almost go off yourself.
But there was one I'll never forget that was on the main road. Some young guy was just going hell for leather. Obviously didn't know where the hell they were going, just flat out, and just didn't take a corner and just ploughed straight into it. Bang, bang, and they were all dead. You know. And the kid that was driving a little Maori kid, and you know, we pulled him out and felt so inadequate that we didn't know any karakia or anything like that to sort of say, you know, to the freaked out, newly departed spirit. But I did my best to try to say, hey, you know, you've crossed over now, kid. So have a good journey, sort of thing. There's no coming back. Your body's no longer habitable.
The movement of the trees is awesome when that wind barreling through. Especially when you're coming down the top, it can be quite sheltered, and you come around a corner and you've just got this force just barreling through, you know, through past you, hitting the car, and it's, yeah, just seeing all the trees move.
When it rains, when it rains, you just don't see anything. There's just rain coming at you. It's like ice falling out of the sky.
Yeah, the way the rain looks, especially at night when the windscreen wipers are going lickety split, raindrops in the light, you know, leave sort of streaky lines. It's a bit like Star Wars when they go into hyperdrive.
Coming into the Straits and just seeing all that fog come up through the trees.
It's like life without Wi-Fi, you know, it's not somewhere you want to be. Often you can't see anything in front of you. Sometimes even the front of the car is just lost to the abyss. People say, oh, it'd be nice to be inside a cloud, but if you take that idea of being inside a cloud and then being kind of shoved in and trapped, it's that real claustrophobic feeling of just being closed off.
No matter how many times you drive that road, it never fails to catch me how beautiful and absolutely stunning it is, and how really truly blessed we are to have it. Every time, even after 100,000 times that I've driven that road, I get the same feeling every time.